Welcome to Set Life. I'm Amber Buto, and this is
Kelly Leger.
And we are sitting with one of my dear friend and a dear friend of the studio, Andrea Gómez.
Hello, Amber and Kelly.
Thanks for
Thanks
coming
for having me.
Thanks for coming and sitting with us. It was a big debate on whether I was going to say her name or she was going to say her name because she says it so much fancier than me. But
Andrea Gómez.
See, I'm going to tell y'all, I tried to nail that, and you can say this little Texas girl didn't quite get that one. So, but we're so glad that you're here with us, and we met on actually a shoot here in the studio.
Yes, and I was very impressed with your studio. It's beautiful. And then when you told me about the podcast, I was like, wow.
Thank you. Yes, and likewise. So you were shooting something here, and at the time y'all were doing it in English and Spanish.
Yeah.
And so I got to come on set a couple of times and watch, and I was just her in action. So there was a director in English, and so they would do the cadence in English with the talent, and then she would come on, and it was like
And that's how you direct right there.
I think she would talk, and I would feel like I was watching television. She sounds just like television because you have been in television for 25 years.
Wow.
And 15 years on Univision as one of their lead anchors. So you were able just to turn that host on and off, which was just miraculous to watch and see.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love it.
Way fun.
25 years.
Yeah.
My goodness.
I know, I started when I was 5.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love it.
Wow.
They throw me to the set.
Amazing.
Go to the news.
I thought you looked kind of familiar.
Right? Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. Sure. I'm sure you were watching the news every night on Univision, trying to learn Spanish or trying to see the mamacitas on the Univision. A lot of pretty girls in the channel.
Like a guitar, right?
Not in the news, but in the telenovelas.
Yeah.
That's right. Wow.
Yeah. So that leads us to your story, your journey. You know, how did you get into television? Did you always, like, from a young age, were you like, oh, I want to do that? Or did you stumble into this? What was kind of your journey into this industry?
Well, I wanted to be an actress.
Okay.
I wanted to be an actress in the telenovela.
Wow.
That's the reality.
Wow.
I wanted to be an actress, but unfortunately, or fortunately, I don't know. I would say, probably fortunately, my dad is an engineer. So he's so, engineers are so square.
Mhm.
Yes.
And he said, like, so when I was going to graduate from high school, so he said, okay, well, we're going to start looking for college. In my country, we say universities.
Yes.
Not college, but we're going to start looking for university. What do you want to study? I said, I already told you. He said, no, for real. I said, I already told you I want to be an actress. And I was always in theater, and I was always the main character on all the plays in my school. But of course, for him, it was like, that's a school.
Yep.
That's real life. I said, well, that's what I want to be. So he said, no, nobody in my family, especially my only daughter, will be an actress, because he associates to be an actress with prostitution, alcohol, and drugs and everything. And I'm sure it's there somehow.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But I was like, no, I want to have that as a career. So he said, no, I'm not going to pay for that. I like, okay. So I said, well, let me think about something that for him is real.
Right.
And I can utilize my talent as an actress. So I said, well, what about being a broadcaster, being a journalist with a major in broadcaster? So in Bogota, which is the capital city of my country, Colombia, we have several colleges or universities that have a journalist, but only one is specialized in broadcast. So I applied there, and my major is in broadcast, and my minor is in marketing and PR. Of course, marketing and PR back then, it was different like these days. But so I said, well, that would be perfect, because I want to be a reporter, an anchor.
Yeah.
And reporters and anchors, we have to act
Yeah.
on the news. So I combine my passion for acting and my talent, and I please my dad,
Yeah.
and I please myself.
That was
So-
good.
So
Wow.
that's how I started, with the career of being in broadcasting.
Yeah. That was a good win there for you.
Yeah,
Smart.
definitely.
Super
Yeah.
smart.
Definitely. So I study in Colombia. I graduated over there. It's 5 years, not 4 like here. and I did 5.5 because I want to have a major and a minor. So I did 5.5, but always with the mentality like, as soon as I graduate, I need to go to United States. And I'm going to give you the reason. So in Colombia, back then, not now, if you want to become an anchor, a news anchor, you have to be either a beauty queen or a daughter of a wealthy family. And I was not a beauty queen, and I was not from a wealthy family. So I said, if I want to become an anchor, it has to be in the country that is a land of opportunities, and they don't discriminate you if you are not a beauty queen. So that's why, like, as soon as I graduate, I said, okay, I have to go to United States. So my next door neighbors, since I was 12 years old, half of the family were living in Laredo, Texas. So Laredo, Texas, if you ask somebody in Latin America, we have those ideas that Laredo is everybody's in the horses, and it's like those commercials with the big tires. So I was like, okay, well, I don't know what I'm gonna end up being in a cowgirl, but that's my ticket to be in the United States, because that's like, that family was like family for us. Because we grew up together. So they offer me, so like, as soon as you graduate, you wanna come to United States, you're more than welcome. We give you a house and we help you, connecting you with the media over there. Good thing in Laredo, 95% of the population are Hispanic. So they speak, everybody speaks Spanish. And that was perfect for me, because back then I didn't know any word in English, and I still learning. I only knew hamburger, French fries in case that I was hungry.
That's funny, because in Spanish, I only know cerveza and restroom.
And margaritas.
And margarita.
Quesadilla.
Quesadillas, tortilla, queso.
It's funny because America, it's her French fry.
Yeah, so it's perfect.
Ideal.
So you will not be hungry if you go to Latin America just with those words. So I said, okay, I don't care. I will learn on my own. So back then, of course, no internet, no nothing like the luxury that we have these days. So my dad gave me a big dictionary. It calls Larousse. It's a red dictionary in English and Spanish. So I brought my big dictionary and I came here with my bag, and I ended up in their house, in my next door neighbor's family. And they connect me with the owner of a newspaper in Spanish in Laredo. 3 months later, so I was writing for Laredo, Texas. They have, the newspaper is in Nuevo Laredo, which is Mexico, in the border with Laredo, but they have a section in Laredo, Texas. And I was writing for the Laredo section. So I started learning a lot, and I was going to the press conference, and it was everything in English, and I didn't understand anything, but they give you the press release. So look at me with my dictionary trying to understand everything, and I was like going crazy. But that was my best school, learning English, because I had to see everything in English, translate it to Spanish, and I was able to manage. And 6 months after working for the newspaper, I got a phone call from the news director of Univision in Laredo, Texas. And she said, you don't know me, but she called me to the newspaper. So, you don't know me, I'm so-and-so, I'm the news director of Univision. And I was like, that's like but you want to keep calm. Yeah, of course. You don't want to be like so excited. I'm like, how did you got my number? She said, well, I'm calling to the newspaper. I'm like, oh, that's true. But I was so nervous. She said, well, my reporters been seeing you in the field covering things. They told me that you're new in town, that you're from Colombia, and you look good. I'm like, oh, I look good.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Keep talking.
Yeah, exactly. And she said, and we have a part-time position for a reporter. And I was like, said, do you have any experience on TV? Of course not. But I said, well, yeah, on the university TV, that counts.
That's right.
That's
Yes.
She didn't specify in the real TV, but yes, I had experience on the TV.
Yes.
I didn't say on the university, but I did have. She said, okay, you want to come next week to do a casting? And I was like, yeah, let me check my calendar. And I go-
Wide open.
Yeah, wide open. I said, yeah, sure, let's, this
Yeah.
day. I want to do the casting, and I was so nervous, and I was sweating, and I was like, really my first time on camera. But I said, like, okay, you're an actress. So
you can do this.
You can do this.
Yes.
And I did it, and 2 weeks later, they called me, okay, the part-time is yours. So that's how I ended up working for Univision
Wow.
part-time, but I didn't leave the newspaper. So I told them it's okay if I
Yeah.
can keep working in the newspaper, because working in a newspaper, you learn so much
Mhm.
Wow.
because you have to like really get details on the interviews,
Mhm.
write longer. So I was like, I want to eat the world,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
having that opportunity and a 1 in a million to come to this country, not speaking English, and working in media.
Yeah.
That was my dream.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I was so blessed for that.
Uh-huh,
Wow.
So I kept working on the newspaper from 7 in the morning till 5 o'clock in the afternoon, running to the station, and it started at 5:30 till 11 o'clock at night. Every day for a year I did that.
Oh, wow.
But that was my
Wow.
that was my best experience. And to me, that was my PhD, my master's
Yes,
degree.
yeah,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
right.
yeah, no
Yep.
doubt.
For
Golly.
sure, for sure. Something that keeps like ringing in my heart is, although your dad didn't support it, it was almost the driving essence that allowed you to do those long days. Because it was like you were going to prove to the fact that you could do this.
You're absolutely right.
Right. So it was like if your dad had been like, oh, baby, you can do this, and like, babied you along, you maybe wouldn't have had that resilience and hunger and drive and fight
Absolutely.
to withstand, 12, 14, 15, 18-hour days
Mhm.
on in to get that grit, grind, and like experience in 1 year that you would have got, let's say, in 5 years, for as much as you put in.
And not only that, you brought up a really good point. I was very revealed with my dad, but not in a bad way.
Yeah.
Because he didn't want to support me to be an actress. So I told him, don't worry, I'm going to get to college or to university to be a journalist in broadcasting. And I don't want your money.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to ask the government for a loan.
Yeah.
So I got a student loan. And the student loan, the only thing I need from you is documentation, because they're going to ask me, who's going to pay the student loan and everything. So just give me that. He said, no, you don't need that. I said, I want to.
Mm-hmm.
I want to, because I want to say that I graduated and I pay for my own college. Because then when I start working, I start sending money to Colombia to pay the student loan. He said, okay, but then I got 80% only of the student loan. He said, so now how are you going to pay the other 20? Because you don't want my money. I said, don't worry, I'll work every weekend. And I was working every weekend. I was working Friday, Saturday, and Sunday as a waitress and host in restaurants. And with that, I was saving during the whole semester to pay the other 20%.
Wow.
Mm.
And then I graduated, and I wanted to prove so bad to my dad that, but you know what? Now I thank him.
Yeah.
Like, thank you for not letting me be an actress.
Yeah.
And, drive me to something better.
Yep.
So then I said, no, I'm going to go to United States. So as soon as I finished classes, you finish your classes, and then you graduate a month later, right?
Yeah.
As soon as I finished my classes, I said, I'm leaving next week. Said, no, but the graduation. I said, no, that diploma is for you. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
So you go to my graduation
collect
and
it.
send me the picture with my diploma. And I have the picture. It's my mom, my dad, my brother, and my classmates holding the diploma, and I am not there. But I was there for 5 years and a half.
Yeah.
And that's what you wanted? Here is your diploma.
Yeah.
It's yours.
Yeah.
And I left.
Good.
And that's why I came to this country.
But I think that tenacity, that drive, that angst, I think some people could take it and turn it bitter, or some people can take it and turn it as a catalyst stepping block to just thrive.
Yeah.
Right. And say that individualism that you have to say, I'm going to do this, is so rare today.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know this next generation has that grittiness to them to go like,
Yeah, no,
No,
we give them everything.
yeah, but they also are so willing to take it, because your dad was also giving it to you too,
Yeah.
to a degree, and you're like, no, I'm
Yeah.
not going to take it.
Mhm.
Like the amount of people that won't take something that's offered to them because they don't have that individualism. I don't know if you'd say pride or just drive to say, I want to own this. I want to do something like this is important to me. This is who I am, who I want to be. Just, man, where did that go? Just, I'm not sure where that went,
Yeah.
to hear that in your story. And I hope that other people listening are encouraged to jump off and do those things, believe in yourself, have the confidence that you can do it, and use maybe that's not for you or whatever. There's always going to be naysayers. There's always going to be somebody that doesn't believe in you. They're always take that and use that as fuel to be able to say, I do believe that I can do this, and I do believe that I will be successful. And you know what? Matter of fact, how about I bet on myself?
Yeah.
You know what? How about I'm willing to bet on myself to do this? So I don't need that. I had a bit of that in me too young. It was a little bit like, hey, no, I don't need your help, nor will I ask for help. And
I'm so intimidated right now. I'm around so much fuego. There's too much fuego.
It's two alpha women here.
I'm just like taking it all in.
Yeah, but I think that you say something that to me is the key on everything in life is believe in yourself. And I do believe in myself no matter what. To me, obstacles, I turn that in opportunities. When somebody tell me no, to me is a beyond yes.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh no, okay, hold on.
Yeah, right.
Hold on.
This is a whole movie right here.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
This is a movie waiting to happen.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I mean, what a story. I love that. There's so many elements there. I mean, the story, the filmmaker in me,
Okay, I was just gonna
storyteller.
say,
I told you it's a telenovela. My life is a telenovela.
And the mic drop moment is when you tell Dad to go get his diploma.
Yeah.
Oh my
You know,
God,
that's
I
like,
know.
yeah, go get your diploma.
I know. My poor dad.
Come on.
He's such a nice
But
guy.
It's such a cool story. I can
I
see
know.
it. It's beautiful.
Yeah. I said, like,
Yeah.
what about the graduation? I said, no, that's yours.
Yeah.
You go get your diploma.
Go get your paper.
Go get your diploma.
I love it.
You're gonna be in the picture. I was 5 years and a half in the university. That's what you wanted?
Yeah.
I'm done.
This is a great real life story.
It is.
Amber loves producing real life stories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is like every time I'm just hearing your language here. This is so good.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah.
stuff. I have like nothing to add. I have nothing. I'm just like, wow, just wow and wow and wow and wow.
Come on, Kelly. Come
That's
with
good.
the question. Now, give me something.
Man, it's so good. I'm like why? Where did that come from? Was that modeled for you? Did you see someone model that kind of tenacity, or what was that? What did that?
I don't know. I think obviously I have a strong personality. I'm a daughter. I'm the older one in my family. We are two boys, younger than me, and me. I'm the oldest one. And I think I saw so many things. I mean, everything comes from childhood, right?
Yeah.
Everything comes from childhood. Your traumas or your whatever drive you in life comes from childhood. So I have an amazing mom. My mom is, she is the center of our family. But my mom is an old-fashioned woman. And she is the one that met my dad when she was 14 years old and always stay with him and marry him and never work, stay home mom. And she went to college when she was 45 years old. After we all left the house, she decided, okay, I'm gonna get a diploma, but for myself. But she didn't do anything with that diploma. She never worked and do anything like professional.
Yeah.
So I always say, many women will say probably, oh, my mom always stay home. I want to always stay home. I want to just find a husband and have my kids and raise my kids and stay home. To me, was the contrary. I was like, I want everything except to be my mom in that matter.
Yeah.
I'm a really good mom because of my mom. And I always say that because she is an amazing mom. But I didn't want just to be a mom. I want to be Andrea Gómez for something, not just Andrea, the mom of so-and-so.
Yeah, I say, being a mom is one of the greatest honors in the world. Whether you can naturally have children, you adopt children, or you take on kids. Being a mom, that role is such an honor to be a parent. I mean, it's something I dreamed of being.
Yeah. That's the biggest job we have.
It is. But
yeah,
there's a whole curriculum that I have and really can't wait to really bring to the world is before I was a mom, I was Amber.
Exactly.
With a purpose.
Exactly.
Put here for a reason.
A purpose.
And part of that was to be a mom.
Yeah.
Because I was blessed with 2 children.
Mm-hmm.
A part of that was to be a wife because I was blessed with a great marriage.
Mm-hmm.
But without the other 2 entities, I still am Amber with gifts and talents and things to give to the world for a purpose.
Absolutely.
And I always looked at it like that, and that you have seasons in life where your purpose in that time is to be the best mom that you can be in that particular time. Then you could have an opportunity where you had to be a mom, a wife, and, work on something you were called to.
Yeah.
It's everybody's looks differently, but I think so many times we forget before we were given that mom role and the wife role, we forget our purpose role that we were put here for.
Exactly.
And I think our society does a really good job of selling us the big vision of mom and wife and the house and the
La La
the
Land.
cars and all of that fairy tale. I mean, look at all of the movies, because we're in the entertainment industry. Look at all the movies.
Mm-hmm.
None of the movies depict Cinderella wasn't working. She worked so hard in the house.
Yeah,
And
cleaning.
she cleaned and she cooked.
I
And then
know.
the fairest man of all found her and rescued her, right? And so then it lends to, we grow up seeing these stories, Snow White, like all of them, Beauty and the Beast, like none of them are working, thriving, successful women
Exactly.
that get picked by the prince.
I know.
It wasn't
exactly.
like, look at that worker over there. The prince is like, I'm going to go get her. Look at her. She's like slave driving, man.
But they get to talk to a bunch of little forest animals.
They do. I mean, it's just kind of, as a society, we do a really good job. But vice versa, we also put that expectation on men as well.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And it's kind of like, I have a huge passion to say we can still be that kind, loving, nurturing mom, wife, and all that, but also have a career and a purpose and a drive and a passion and be independent.
Yeah. And be a
within
role
those.
model for your kids in that matter
Mhm.
too.
Mhm.
I think it's very important that your kids seeing like my mom is a hard worker.
Yeah.
She provides. She comes here and she's and she also clean and she also cook
Yes.
because I clean and cook.
Same.
It's not like I'm just waiting for somebody to clean and cook. And
Mhm.
no,
Yep.
I clean, I cook, I go to the meetings, to the school for my
Yep.
kids. I'm on top of everything, my kids' schedule, the clothes, and I'm on top of everything. And also I work.
Yeah.
And I'm a professional. But then, as you were saying, the prince seems in the movies only rescue those kind of women. But
Yeah.
where is the prince that rescued these women? This kind of women.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And you are absolutely right when you said, also the expectations with the man.
Yep.
The men see a woman is strong and they're like, oh, she doesn't need anything. Like,
Yeah.
and when they see a woman that they're not strong, they want to rescue the woman.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not an animal in the street that I need to be rescued.
Right.
It's just like, but
Yeah.
I mean, have compassion also for a woman like us that we are
Yeah.
Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We're
Yeah.
Wonder Woman. We do
True.
everything and
Yeah.
we try to do everything right. And we put 100% of effort and mind and body and everything in everything that we do. Either whether being a mom, cleaning the house, cooking,
Yeah.
but also being the professional aspect.
Yeah. Yeah. Kelly?
Wow.
Sorry.
Are you willing to rescue
the-
this princess?
The best thing I can say right now is true. It's all
That's great, Kelly.
Yes.
You see, this is
guys
good.
learn
This is
right
good.
now. So you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes to both of those.
But I think it's great to have that in this industry as well, for all of the younger audience that's listening, and heck, maybe not even younger, to step into an industry and be confident in your role where you are in the industry.
Yeah.
I had no idea that being a woman-owned studio was going to be like a thing. I just was doing what I was know to do, kind of, right? Or what I
Yeah.
felt like I was supposed to
Your
do.
passion.
I didn't look at it like, oh, I think I want to be a woman-owned studio and show
No.
all these men. Like, I didn't even know that. I mean, it's like
Yeah.
it wasn't trying to be like an agenda or anything.
Yeah.
It's kind of turned into that a little bit, but it's not for me. I think it's just whatever you feel passionate about, or whatever you feel like you've been led to do in this industry. Do it kindly, and do it with the independence and the strong and the tenacity to approach it with what we say around here all the time is bring excellence to whatever you touch.
Yeah.
And whatever you do it in such an excellent way. And that doesn't have to be overbearing or harsh, or it can be kind, and it can be strong. Let your yeses be yes and your nos be no. And bring that energy, because I think as strong, independent women, we bring an energy to something,
Mhm.
just like when you have a man that's, strong in his way, brings a sense of, you're like, oh, you can just feel when they walk in the room, there's a respect. You're like, I don't know why I respect them right now, but we're all going to respect this person that just came in. Or there's a,
But you wanna admire the person.
yeah, there's those type things, but then you also have the ability to lend that to the creative side when somebody is just uber creative and their environment looks a certain way. So I guess it's saying just lead with such tenderness to understand your environment that you're in within this industry. That's something that I've learned, that is not coming from this industry, learning the industry, and coming in with this type of personality,
Yeah.
so to speak, where you just
Yeah.
like, "Ugh, run everything over. Doesn't always work and everything. In trying to go, oh, okay, dial it back a little bit, so I leave room for in my leadership, in my style, that everybody can foster in it and be able to hold that line of excellence
Yeah.
and tenacity and drive and passion and all that, but also leave room for the excellence to rise up in everyone else as well in this
Absolutely.
industry.
Yeah.
And I hope that our stories encourage others to lead in the same kind of way in this industry, because I think we've got off a little bit. Sorry, Kelly, this is so women strong, but I think we've got
This is great.
Uh,
I love it.
on like women empowerment, rule the world, we can be a man. Like, I have no desire to be a man. I have every desire to be a strong, kind,
Yeah.
passionate woman to influence the way that we're supposed to influence and lead the way we're supposed to lead.
Yeah.
And do that in a kind way and help encourage others to do it. As I know you being a anchor for 15 years in a predominantly, it's been a predominantly man's world, the entertainment industry has.
Yeah.
And the way they've perceived women has not always been the best.
Absolutely.
And how you can come in and not fall underneath that, but hold your own in it
Mhm.
in a kind, strong kind of way.
Yeah.
I will say, if I had any idea that Hispanic news was like this, I would have been watching it for a long time. There was this much fire, beauty. I'm like, I bet the majority of your demographic who watches the news are probably a bunch of guys. I mean,
It
it's
is.
it makes it
It
entertaining.
is. At 10
It's-
o'clock, the majority is
I
guys.
never
Yeah.
wanted to watch the news so much. No,
Yeah.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But it's just, that's all. That's all.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I think they were kind of onto something on that.
Yeah, and I'll also say the filmmaker, storyteller in me kind of feels like I only heard half a story. Like, what happened now? Like,
Yeah, true.
what's where is Andrea now?
Okay. So I have twins, boy and a
Okay.
girl. They're now 18 years old. So when I was doing the news, and you know how this industry is so demanding on time, because it's not like a 9 to 6 or 8 to 5 job. So my kids were like 5 years old, and I was pretty much not seeing them, because that's when they start going full time to school. So I was like dropping them off, and that's it. Not seeing them till the next day, because by the time that I get home, I was doing the 5 and 10 o'clock news. So by the time that I get home, it was 11-ish, and I was just going to see them already asleep.
Mm.
And I start like having a problem with that. I was like,
Yeah.
I have an army of people helping me to
Yeah.
raise my kids. My parents came to this country. They left everything in Colombia just to come and help me with my twins for me to pursue my career. So that's another thing that even though that I challenged my dad and everything, thank you, my dad and my mom.
Oh.
Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to do what I
Yeah.
do these days. And my parents are like my best friends. And I have, and I create with my kids like a habit and a tradition. Every Sunday is family time. And for them to be close to my parents, that's very important for me. So now they're in college, but till now, my kids, even in college, call my parents and to say hi to them and everything because they were a very important part of their life.
Beautiful.
So I have my parents. I have a nanny 24/7 living in my house, helping me. Sometimes I had to hire a driver to pick up the kids. And my ex-husband or husband in that time, the father of my kids, he is in oil and gas. So he was traveling all the time. So he was out of the house and I was always working. So I said, I need to make a decision. And in that moment, I didn't understand how important was to leave my career in that moment, not only for my kids, but I was on my prime time on my career. I was getting offers to work in national television, to go and work in the news in Miami and Univision, or going to LA. And I have to reject those offers because I said, I will destroy completely my family, which is my kids. Because if now I know in local television is a demanding time, over there is even worse. So I said, I'm gonna resign. So I gave my news director like 3 months for her to try to find somebody else. They were like back and forth offering me more money and no stay. Like, it's not about money. I wish I can stay. I cried for a month after I left. Because after I did everything I did, coming to this country, coming from Colombia, and getting to the point that I never thought I was gonna get to that point, and having the career of my dream, it was really hard.
Yeah.
But I have to raise my kids. I said, I need to be there for my kids because I don't want for them to get in a teenager age and then my kids are drug addicts or my daughter is pregnant or something and because I wasn't there.
Yeah.
I said, no, that is not going to happen. And Univision is not going to compensate me for that.
Right. Yeah.
So I make a very hard, tough decision, but I knew that leaving Univision, I had to be fast and act fast because if you disappear from television for 6 months, nobody remembers you.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, during those 3 months that I gave her as a period, to find somebody, I started preparing myself and thinking what I'm going to do. So as soon as I left Univision, I registered my name because what do you take from TV? Your name. That's the only thing you take.
Yeah.
So I registered my name, Andrea Gómez, and I added communications, Andrea Gómez Communications. So I was able to do things on my own and also to be with my kids. So I got my first contract. Back then, the social media was just starting, to friends from college, family, nothing for business. So I was not using social media for that. So I got my first contract with TV Azteca, which is a Mexican network, very important, that they used to have an office here in Houston. So they hired my company, but which is also me, to create news content for them. They didn't have a newscast. So I was creating what we have these days on social media, the 1-minute segments that we use in social media. I create a 1-minute news segment for them. So I was producing and presenting six 1-minute segment every single day for them.
Wow.
But that gave me, I was doing that Monday and Tuesday for the whole week. And then I was be able to be with my kids. So that's how I started. And then MundoFox, which is Fox in Spanish, called me. They opened a newscast in LA. So I was a national correspondent for them, but freelance. So I did everything freelance on my own time without affecting my kids. And little by little, I was for 3 years the national correspondent for MundoFox, it's Fox in Spanish, and then TV Azteca, it's in Mexico network, so I was also the international correspondent for them. Then I got a call from RCN, which is a network in Colombia. I was an international correspondent for them too. So for 3 years, I was national and international correspondent in Spanish for different networks.
Wow.
Till the social media start booming for business. And I started getting calls from lawyers and doctors, like trying to figure it out how to navigate the social media. And also they said, I don't want a cheesy content. I want an informative content because that's my image, especially the doctors and lawyers.
Yeah.
So I started creating segments for them in their social media, but informative segments. So I started doing that, interviewing them, sitting with them for 1 minute or 2 minutes, and then put it in social media. So it was informative, and they were creating content, but with a news anchor. Then I transformed those segments from social media to the segments at Univision. Now I'm every day at Univision all day long, but with my clients, but only with informative segments.
Wow.
So what I did, I talked to Univision because of my relationship with them. I said, well, let's create these segments that I'm already doing it in social media, but let's do it in television. And they were like, okay, but how are we going to do it? I said, well, let's do it like an integration advertising. So you're watching, for example, Good Morning America, and with the same look, with the same logo, but just saying Good Morning Houston, you have me in the Univision segment, set, sitting with the lawyer or sitting with the doctor and talking to them about, for example, my plastic surgeon client, mommy makeover, or liposuction, tummy tuck, and what is the time that he gets to recover after the surgery. So I'm interviewing them, but in a news format. And I'm doing that with lawyers, doctors, and now I'm also doing it with Texas Mattress Maker, and I do it with restaurants. So I don't advertise when somebody hire me. I don't advertise like, come and buy the car, because it's like, no, I don't do that. If you want me to do something on TV, it has to be informative. It's a commercial, but it's informative because I have to take care of my image and utilize my news background in a good way. So to me, it's not only I offer my clients a good content, informative content, but the credibility that I have on TV, the recognition, the people see me on the street or see me on TV and they believe me, the trust. So that's what I sell to my clients. Trust, credibility, a career, and an image in news that, so now, like last night I was having dinner with two of my girlfriends, and one of the waiters came, and the waiter came and he said, oh, I saw you on the news with the lawyer. Well, it was on the news, but it's not the news. But the way I created it, it's like, you think it's a segment with Andrea on the news. So those segments are in the news. And it's a serious segment, so people think I am on the news. So that's the added value to my client.
It's integrated so well.
It's integrated so well that
So
people are still
natural.
thinking that I never left Univision. I just switched the format, and instead of being in the news, doing the news, I'm now doing segments all day long.
That's great.
There's so much there. Like, just in terms of the innovation, in terms of taking a skill set that you have and like using it here and here and here and duplicating it, and then not, the standard format of having to go into a facility and record. You've been able to take that and do that anywhere and not lose your family. There's so much thinking and wisdom and brilliance, honestly, behind doing all that. And really, you were a pioneer with some of those things. For
those
a lot of that.
now you see those segments with other people, but I started the concept.
That's amazing.
I started the concept. So what I do, not only I create those segments with my clients and we put it on TV, but now what I do also for them is not only have the credibility for the viewers and the audience and the community in Houston, but I have the credibility of the networks in Spanish and in English. So what I do PR for them. So I mean, I have an ability with my experience to know what is newsworthy. And what I do is I immediately create a press release and I send it out. And all the networks, as soon as they see my name, they know I'm sending them an expert in
Incredible.
something.
Yeah.
It's credibility. They don't even check credentials. Nothing. Hey, Andrea, I saw that you have a lawyer talking about this. Can we interview him? He's already buying media.
Yeah.
But I'm also putting him on the news.
Yeah.
So that's another thing that I offer to my clients. It's like, not only I'm going to be with you in the segments that I create for you for the social media and the news, but also I'm doing the PR. So I'm putting you on TV. And I'm on top of the news all the time. I mean, I'm seeing all the alerts and breaking news. As soon as I see something, I was like, okay, let me see how I'm going to connect this with my client. And boom, I send a media alert. Hey, media colleagues or media partners, I have a doctor that can talk about this that is a breaking news today.
Yeah.
And they're hungry of experts, especially in Spanish, because it's hard for them to find experts in Spanish. And all my clients are bilingual, so they can do it in English and Spanish.
Oh, that's
So I'm
great.
always put my clients on TV, on the news all the time. And now I became a source of an expert for the news. So I get calls every single day for local and national TV in English and Spanish. They're looking for expert on something. I said, like, I have it.
Yeah.
Boom. So I call my clients. So I charge them for that, but of course is a fraction of their pay if they will buy advertising on TV, because you know how expensive is that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, that's great.
So I look for opportunities. And instead of like, okay, well, my career it ends because I need to raise my kids and it's just stay home. No, let me reinvent myself with the skills that I have, with the career that I have, and let's try to make money with that.
I don't know if this mic will come off because I want to like drop it right now. You know, but, I mean, come on. Wow. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's so great.
Man, I hate to say it, but you know what I'm going to say?
I know.
We're out of time. And how do people connect with you?
Yep.
So they can follow me on my social media, Andrea Gómez News, or the easiest way is to go to my website and you can find everything that when I'm talking to you is andreagomez.tv as a television, andreagomez.tv. You can find also the links to my social media. You can find all the videos that I've been talking to you guys, the integration advertising, my clients, and my services. I do PR, I do MC for events in English and Spanish. Believe me or not, also in English, I'm doing it.
Can you come and MC the event in a Spanish accent in English?
Yeah.
I think that'd be cool.
Yeah. So yeah, I never thought I was gonna get hired doing an MC or get hired for my accent.
Yeah.
And actually, the last 4 years that been changed. And one of my clients is the mayor of Pasadena, Mayor Jeff Wagner, and he hired me for his Census 2020 campaign, and he hired me for the COVID-19 informative segments, and also for his re-election campaign. And he hired me exactly because he wanted me to speak in the English that I speak with my accent, because 80% of the population in Pasadena is Hispanics.
Spanish. Right.
So he wants people to connect with me.
Yep.
And so that's now my accent. I'm making money with my accent.
Yeah.
So yeah, AndreaGomez.tv, that's the easiest way you can find me.
Wonderful.
That's so great. Props to mom and dad. Props for the tenacity and the God-given drive that you have been given to accomplish all that you've accomplished, but not just accomplished, but be the mom that you've been, and just the friend and the person that you've been in this industry. Thanks for sitting with us today. Thanks for all you've done for the industry here in the Houston area and around the globe, really, with your talents and your gifts and all of that. Can't wait to see what the next 5-10 years holds for you.
Oh, I know. We'll see.
know.
I don't know. I don't know what is going to happen, but something good for sure.
good.
I'm a very driven person, so I will keep I will
Yeah.
keep doing things. But Amber, thank you so much. Kelly, thank you so much for letting me be with you guys to share my story. And I hope I can inspire other Latinas, chicas, mujeres, hermosas, que, they have so much talent. And the key on everything is just believe in yourself. If you believe in yourself, you can conquer the world. And you can do nothing. Don't see anything that is as a barrier or is an obstacle. Just take everything as an opportunity. Doesn't matter if you don't speak the language. Look at me. I'm still learning.
So true. So true. So thank you, Kelly. Thank you. It's always great to sit with you.
So I love being part of the audience today.
That was that was great. That you were a seat filler today.
Yeah,
we
please.
appreciate that.
Invite me back, please. I love it.
No, all jokes aside, thank you, and thank you to you. And we'll see you again on Set Life.